Hi guys, I hope you guys are safe at home in quarantine, but don't forget to subscribe here at Fino Boxing and follow my personal one at Adriana_sports. And guess what? We're gonna knock out this coronavirus. Bop, bop, bop.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Here with undefeated welterweight contender Alexis Rocha. Alexis, good to see you once again. Obviously, we're going through a difficult time right now with the COVID-19. How's everything been with you since all this went down?
Yeah, man. So what could I say? Very unfortunate times right now. But to say the most, man, it's been boring. We can't do much. We're very limited in what to do. So I've just been working out and then playing video games. That's about it.
There you go. So that's a typical 9 to 5 right now. That you pretty much work full time, video games, and then working out in,
Yeah.
in the afternoons.
Wake up, go run, rest a little bit, work out in my garage. I have a little gym set up there, and then I clock in, I should say, and then play with Warzone.
Yeah. How difficult has it been? Obviously, being going to the gym once or
Yeah.
twice a day, now having to work out at home. Has it been difficult to adjust?
At first it was. Because we got talks that we don't know when boxing will resume. Maybe could have been till next year. So right there, your hopes get down. You get a little lazy. But then me, I stuck to running every day. Even if it wasn't boxing workouts, I was just running every day. And then slowly but surely, we built a little gym in my garage, and then from there we just started working out. So we're doing 2 a days, and we've been working out ever since.
Yeah, definitely. Have you had any word from Golden Boy? Obviously, there was rumors that they might return back in July 4th. That seems to be not the case this time around, especially with everything going on with the zone. Do you know when you're expecting to come back?
No, man. I'm just trying to stay ready as best as I can. No word yet for anything. I know Golden Boy's trying to work something up in July, but no word. We just gotta, as our fighter ends, we gotta freaking just keep working now and staying ready till we get that phone call.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Well, we know you have a large fan base. Last time we saw you was at the Honda Center. You pretty much had like what 2,000 people that went there cheering for you. Just you. You took
Yeah,
on paper, to your toughest opponent in Brad
yeah,
Solomon. Talk
yeah,
about that experience. Being back in the OC, putting up a great fight against someone in Solomon and coming
yeah.
out with victorious.
Yeah, man. What could I say? Well, as soon as they announced my name to walk out on my entrance, it was electrifying to be honest. It gets me pumped up just thinking about it. The freaking crowd was amazing that night, and going into the fight, it was a very tough fight. I knew he was going to come very prepared. He had just fought that undercard previously on Vergil. When he fought Vergil,
Yeah.
I fought the same day too. So we're pretty much back to back training camps. So it was a very tough fight for me, given the experience that Solomon has. But that's stuff that's very valuable for a young fighter like me.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you're 16-0, 10 knockouts, making a name for yourself in the welterweight division. Recently, you also went to the UK and you were helping out spar, Josh Taylor for the Regis per Great fight. How was that experience going to the UK? Was that your first time going overseas?
No, I've been overseas quite a few times. When I was younger, I made the national junior Olympic team.
Yeah.
So I was traveling various times over there to Russia, Ukraine, Germany, Italy. That was my second time to the UK. So I knew what to expect out there, but it was just I gotta thank Josh Taylor's team, the McGuigan family, having me over there and just being so kind, so genuine over there.
How was that experience, from getting off the plane, knowing that you're going to go against, one of the top guys at the 140-pound division, besides him, Jose Ramirez, obviously Maurice Hooker could also, be in the mix. And then you have Mario Barrios. How was that experience, going to the gym day in, day out? Was that also a learning experience for you to face a guy of that caliber?
Yeah, man, it was tons of experience that I gained off that. Just not let alone just going in there by myself. I'm in a different country, literally by myself. Walking around, uh, and then just going in the ring with Josh. He was showing me new things. He's a champion for a reason. The guy could crack, he could fight. I held my own. Don't get me wrong. They're very impressed with me, and I was very shocked not very shocked, but you know, I don't know the word for it, but I was very pleased how they treated me and how humble Josh was. Josh is a very humble person outside of the ring. I didn't expect him to be like that because I've seen interviews of him. He gets in your face in the face-off and the weigh-ins, but he was very kind, and that took me off surprise. So we kind of shared a little bond, and it was cool. He took me out to eat a couple times. We're hanging out, and inside the ring, the man's just a monster.
Yeah. And now you mentioned earlier, you were part of the U.S. national team, competing overseas. How was that experience, and when did you decide to go pro instead of maybe pursuing the Olympics?
Like I said, like amateurs gives you a lot of experience. It leads you into the professionals. And in my case, I was always traveling overseas with the Olympic team, the junior Olympic team. And you get new styles. You get that foreign style, the herky jerky. They move weird, man. It's a whole different style out there, and that's a style you got to adapt to win an Olympic gold medal. But I didn't like the changes in AIBA, what they did without the headgear and the age.
No.
In the age. So, me and my team find it more suitable from my style to go to the pros. So that's what we did. And when we did, Golden Boy was right there with the doors open. And, they've been very loyal to my brother, Ronnie Rios, who's been with Golden Boy since the beginning of his career. I want to thank Golden Boy, and I want to thank specifically Robert Diaz for always being in there and always believing in us both.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you probably would, obviously, you're only 22 years old. If you could have waited, obviously you could have competed even at the Tokyo Olympics. You see a lot of, mid-20s, especially if you're Cuban, maybe even late 30s. But speaking of Ronnie Rios, he put up a great performance. He shocked the world in a sense, but you kind of know what he brought to the table. He was undefeated, until he got caught with Robin Castellanos, I believe, at the fantasy. Just things didn't work out, but he was able to bounce back, and obviously beating the Diego de la Hoya, sets him up for a world title opportunity. Do you think that's in the cards for him? Either late 2020 or maybe early 2021.
Oh, definitely. I know he's a mandatory for, I believe it's Brandon Figueroa, but just get another title shot. Not many people can say they get 2 title shots. The way I've seen him, his lowest point, and now he's at the high peak. So I just feel like anything is possible. But people don't see the behind the stage, all the sacrifices he makes, the hard work he puts in. It's very motivating. Motivating for me to be his younger brother. It makes me want to compete at the same level, if not want to take it up. Because I know if I'm competing with them and I'm right there by his side, he's eventually going to fight for a world title. So what does that say about me, And I'm very happy for the guy. I know he's going to fight for the belt pretty soon.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we'll look forward to seeing him back and actually competing for another world title. Speaking of you, obviously Golden Boy stacked with talent, young talent in 147-pound division, and also 140. Even if you consider 154, you have Vergil, you have Blair Cobbs. Do you know that obviously maybe it might be too early for those type of fights, but the back of reminder, look, there's a chance that down the line I'm gonna have to face Vergil Ortiz or Blair Cobbs or.
I don't know. Yeah, I know. There's always names being thrown out there, and I know they're in my division. Whoever's in line, is the person I get to face. I know I'm going to face either of them down the line. So that's a challenge I'm more than happy to accept.
Yeah. Do you have friendships with this type of fighters, or do you kind of, just keep it classy, keep it respectful, but just, down the line you got to put in work at some point? Or do you try to,
Yeah, I'm cool with Vergil. We sparred many rounds. I'm very cool with him. He's a very humble person outside the ring, and I've always respect that, especially the way he's doing it. But like you said, in there is a whole different ballgame. There's no friendships in the boxing ring.
Yeah, definitely, no doubt. Well, 147-pound division is one of the most talked about divisions in boxing right now. Obviously, you sparred Josh Taylor, who's at 140. He could possibly go to 147. But who do you think right now is the top dog at 147?
That's a tough one. I think it's a toss-up either Errol Spence or Terrence Crawford. I think that's an interesting fight to see, and that's what the fans want to see, the 2 top dogs in the division.
Yeah, okay, cool. Now, when you look at 147 pounds, you could even have Amir Khan. Do you think that's maybe like a possible opponent for you down the line, if it makes sense? And other people that you have in mind, they're like, what, even if it doesn't come to fruition, but you would like to get a crack at it at some point.
Yeah, man, like Amir Khan's a great name. I know he's been a former world champion, and I think, was he world champion 147?
Yeah, he was a champion at 147.
Yeah, so he's a 2-time world champion. That's a challenge I would love to get, with Amir Khan and other former world champions. It's a very stacked division, like you said, and I'm open for those challenges, and I'm open to develop as a fighter as well, gain that experience.
Yeah, okay, cool. Well, earlier you mentioned about high points and low points. Obviously, your brother, Ronnie Rios, went through that. What would you say has been the toughest decision you had to make, or the toughest point for your career, even though you're only 22 going on 23?
I don't know. That's a very tough question. There's never an easy route to this sport. There's always downs, mentally, because a lot of this sometimes is repetitive, and you've got to just balance it out, and you got to keep working because, you wake up, you run, you go to the gym. It's tough. Those are tough training camps that you put yourself through. So it's more of a mental game. When you feel mentally exhausted, you're like, damn, I feel burned out. I'm fighting back to back. But that's just a good thing. You got to keep pushing because in life, there's never nothing easy to go with. So you got to keep pushing. And I just think mentally sometimes you just tell yourself like, no, you know what? I should take a day off. But really, there's no time to take off in life, especially in boxing because we have such a short window. You got to put 100%, if not more, in this. And I think that's what it's been tough so far. Back then, now it's just been you got to keep. I think of it. I got to be constantly grinding. No one's gonna outwork me. No one's gonna outthink me. I got to keep grinding in this sport.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of hard work and dedication and sacrifice you got to do to be in this sport. There's a lot of fighters that have full-time jobs and still got to put in work at the gym. Did you ever have to go through that where you had a full-time job or a part-time job or going to school and still have to find the time to be dedicated to the sport?
No, man, I've been very fortunate, very blessed. With my amateur career, I signed to Golden Boy, and they had me active right away, so there was no need for a job. I kept doing my part. I'm still doing my part. I'm still putting in that hard work. So, I got to thank all glory to God just for guiding me in this. It's not an easy sport. Like I said, it's very tough, very challenging.
Yeah, definitely. When you look at all the, young new talent that's coming into boxing, you have yourself, you have Vergil, you have Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Tank Davis was 25, and Teofimo Lopez. But we don't see you calling a lot of people out on social media. Is that not your motto, or do you think maybe you gotta, maybe calling people out to kind of get a little more attention to your name?
Who knows, man? I'm very underrated in this sport.
Yeah.
I want people. All eyes on me, and I know it starts with my performances, and that's the way I was raised. I want people to be there for me because of my performances, not because of my mouth, like most of the fighters or some of the fighters. My mom raised me to be very humble, always keep my mouth closed and show the work. So that's a very tough one, man. But me personally, that's not my personality to call out people. Yeah. Whoever they put in front of me is who I want to fight.
Do you think you're one of the most underrated fighters? Because, we mentioned you're only 22 years old, undefeated, 16-10 knockouts, have taken on top competition within Golden Boy. Do you think, yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah. Do you think that's maybe the media's fault, or do you think that's something more like from your PR that kind of has to push you out and create more content or put yourself more in people's faces?
Don't know. The media fault, no, because you guys do your part. You guys are doing interviews like this, such great interviews. Take my hat off to you guys. You guys are always there for, the full access and everything. The way society works now is based off social media, and you have to be constantly on social media, constantly putting stuff up. And I run my own Instagram, so I tend to get kind of lazy with my Instagram. I interact with fans. I don't post as much, and I know that's something you got to be constantly doing, but I don't really look at the social media, even though I should be looking at it, because that's obviously it develops growth in your person, in your fame, I should say, and how people look at you.
Yeah, no, it could be a key asset, just for sponsors and obviously we're getting a higher payday down the line. Taking it to the next questions, we have YouTubers slug it out in the ring. The Logans, the Jake Paul, KSI, Anderson Gabe. I don't even know if you're familiar with these guys. Honestly, personally, I didn't even know who these guys were until they came into the boxing world.
I don't know. Yeah. I only know Logan Paul from, I think it was Logan Paul from that one dumb video he shot of that poor dead body.
In Japan, yeah.
Yeah, that's how I found out about him.
Yeah, he definitely made it more difficult for the YouTubers, because obviously, the guidelines change and things like that. So he made it more difficult for the rest of the YouTubers in a sense, even for YouTube media. But do you think that's good for boxing? The fact that, obviously they have a large fan base, maybe not ideal, but do you think that that's something that a fighter or someone could actually adapt and be like, okay, what are these guys doing? It's working out for them. Maybe I could apply it to my game. Yeah.
So as far as YouTubers going into boxing and just picking it up and fighting, I'm not a big fan of that, because these guys don't have any, background to boxing. They just want to do it just to entertain the fans. But I am for the fact that these YouTubers bring so much attention to it. They have a big following, Because when my brother fought on I think it was the KSI versus Logan Paul rematch here in the Staples Center,
That's right.
I saw the fans they brought. I saw the attention they brought. And all those people were just shouting Ronnie's name, and they were just 13 and 16-year-old kids that don't have no clue about boxing, don't even like boxing, and they were roaring, they were chanting his name. It's a different field. It's kind of weird to see, but it's the stuff that boxing needs. We need different crowds like that. So I definitely think that's very important into the sport, to bring something new.
Yeah, definitely. No, I totally agree with you. I mean, we saw that it was a different crowd at that night at Staples,
Different crowd.
especially a younger crowd, and I think boxing needs to kind of develop more boxing fans, especially that age group. Obviously, when they get older, they buy tickets, they buy merchandise, they support the sport. So the whole, you got to look at it a positive from that perspective, and how can we incorporate that into our sport?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's very important.
Yeah, cool. All right, cool. Obviously, YouTubers fighting, and it could be a spectacle, a circus in a sense, but they do bring a fan base. But just going back to the 147-pound division, are you still comfortable making the welterweight limit, or you think a future at 154?
I'm very comfortable. Yeah, I'm comfortable making 147. Sorry to cut you off there. I'm very comfortable making 147. Don't get me wrong, it is challenging. It is tough getting down there and making the weight, but that's with any fighter, I believe. But for the most part, in every weighing, I'm always a pound under, half a pound under. I make it very comfortable. I'm still 22, though. I'm still maturing, still getting bigger. I haven't found my mastering just yet. So hopefully, when the time comes, I can move up to 154.
Yeah. When you look at, I don't know if you do this, but when you picture a 5-year plan, obviously you're only 22 going on, let's say the time you're 27, what do you think you will accomplish by, when we speak, 5 years from now?
Sky's the limit, man. I always think about my next opponent, never overlooking whoever that is. But, sky's the limit, man. I want to take over this division in the future. I want to take over 147. I want to do what not many people have done. I want to just leave a legacy in this sport. Me being Mexican, I could really take it to another level, like Canelo. I have such a big fan base. Estoy muy orgulloso de ser mexicano. And, always got to keep grinding. But I want to be one of the best that come out, and especially where I'm from Santa Ana, make a big name out of myself, capture world titles in various weight classes. And, sky's the limit for me.
Obviously, we saw you, throw a little Spanish in there. What part of Mexico are your parents from, or, when did you pick up the language?
Growing up, I never talked any Spanish. That's my fault. My parents would always get mad at me talking Spanish. So I started picking it up when I was about 8, 9. And then my dad's from DF. My mom's from Zacatecas. I was born here, but, my blood and my heart's always going to be Mexican.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's good to know. A lot of times, especially when they see Alexis Rocha, they might think, you're. And you're an American, but it's good to see you embracing, the Mexican background that you bring to the table, especially with the large fan base.
Yeah, of course.
Have you ever done a full-time Spanish interview?
Yeah, I've done some with Ernesto.
Okay, yeah. How's your Spanish on a 1 through 10? What do you?
Now it's about an 8.
Okay, that's pretty good.
When I first started fighting, I wasn't very comfortable speaking Spanish and going with the flow. I would rate myself like a 3 or 2. I was pretty bad. Especially with the way I was fighting coming up. My first couple fights, I'll do interviews with Estrella TV. So from there, I got my practice more and more, and that's when I clicked to me that, damn, I need to practice this. I need to practice Spanish, and it's very important, especially the way I grew up, with Mexican heritage.
Yeah, definitely. Well, why don't we close the interview with this? Why don't you send the Spanish-speaking people un mensaje que le puedes decir a la afición y dónde te pueden seguir en tus social media?
Sí, me puedes seguir en mi Instagram a Alexis Rocha 777 y quiero dar saludos a todos que son de Zacatecas, Tepotongo, y también saludos a todos de la Ciudad de México, DF. Muchísimas gracias por todo el apoyo. Gracias.
Bueno, Alexis, thank you so much for your time. Muchísimas gracias. Esperamos verte de regreso lo más rápido posible. Gracias, un abrazo. Nos vemos pronto.
Muchísimas gracias.
Thanks, man. Have a good one.
Thank you, man. You too.
You too, man. Thanks.